Hey everybody. Hi. I'm feeling super good today. Very chill, relaxed, and peaceful. And wanted to come on today for a little while and just share some thoughts with you and give you a little positivity to get you through your next moment. Because I know that you'll all be checking things out in whatever moment you're in. So let's get started. Each day, each of us are given a new moment to carve out the thoughts in our minds. When we are present and we take the time to sit with ourselves, there is an awareness that surfaces. And in this moment of awareness, we start to be aware of what our thoughts are in that moment. What exactly is occupying our minds, we start to feel our bodies, sensations, energy, our heart beating, and it's all there with us in this moment. When we sit with ourselves daily, we start to better understand how the mind works and how the ego often is the dominant voice. By choosing and focusing in on the good things in our lives, we genuinely feel better. Naming 3 things we're grateful for and have a deep appreciation for puts our bodies and minds in an immediate state of peace and contentment. So there are only 2 ways, really, to see the world and to live your life. So you can see it or live it through the lens of love or fear. And I'm going to give you some examples of what that looks like so you can figure out kind of where you're at, and if you want to make any changes, you can. Because we can always change our current state. We can always change our thoughts, and we can always change the way we look at things by bringing in gratitude and appreciation for the now, what is present in and what is happening in this moment. So for example, when living in love, we're open-hearted, we're spending our time on cultivating, meaningful connections with others and ourselves, and expressing love and kindness towards others. So when living in fear, it becomes a little more complex. In my opinion, like, this is all just my thoughts. I'm not an expert and in the healthcare field or mental health or anything. So these are just thoughts. So I'm just sharing with you. But when living in fear, the mind is caught up in the past or the future. And with someone always stuck in their thoughts, thinking about unpleasant circumstances, and causing that person to live in lack and always seeking for security, peace, and etc. So when you're living in fear, you're always seeking something. You end up living life in varying amounts and different states. And this can be very, very damaging to your nervous system. Living in fear usually leads a person down a dark road of anxiety or depression. And, we live in a world, in a society where, I don't have stats, I'm not going to give you stats, but the collective is either living in depression or anxiety. If you talk to anybody you'd be surprised. And they may not even share, really, if, what's happening, right? So a lot of people hide how they're feeling for fear of judgment, etc. So, side note, every day, every moment, you have the opportunity right now to become more settled and feel more whole within yourself. Maybe this is your chance to quiet everything around you so you can hear your own voice. I read something recently about, and I did a meditation actually, and I really like it, and I do it every night. and it talks about emptying the trash. And what that means is we need to release and let go of all of the concepts and things that we've consumed during the day, whether it's been the news, conversations, people's thoughts, ideas, their opinions. We need to basically, at the end of the day, let it all go, put it to the trash, so that we can start on a fresh, clean slate, have a silent, peaceful, undisturbed sleep, and start the next day with an open mind. So instead of an overwhelmed, cluttered mind with thoughts and things and just chaotic, really. So empty the trash every night before you go to bed. And, you know, people change all the time. People change. So sometimes there may be years go by where you haven't seen somebody, you connect, and then you're thinking, oh man, like in your mind, you're thinking, oh man, like I'm not the same person. Like I'm not that same person that they spent time with all those years ago. Or, you know, and you get caught up in that moment. You're like, so what do I do about this, right? Like, is it worth your energy to try to explain to yourself, to that person, like, I'm not that person anymore, you know? It's up to you. Like that's your experience, you know, that's your life to make decisions with. But you're by no means tied to the past versions and stories of what those people hold about you, you know, and whatever they create in their minds about you and how things were and so on. Because the only thing that is constant in this world is change. People are always going to change. And you have no obligation to anyone or anything to meet anybody's unspoken or spoken expectations. You know, expectations always lead to disappointment. So live your life expectation free. You know, clear your mind, take some time in meditation, journaling, whatever avenue, like whatever works for you, and be with yourself so that you know the thoughts in your mind, are they actually your thoughts and your feelings and your sensations in your body, or are they things that people have inflicted and pushed upon you subconsciously without you even knowing, right? So to get back to when you live in love, you have wholesome conversations with people. You know, you may make agreements with them on what you stand for and what you feel, but in no means do you ever have to shrink to fit someone else's demands on you, okay? You have free will every single time. You have the power to decide what you want, what feels okay with you, and what you're willing to, I guess, do to support the collective. The last thing is we abandon ourselves a lot in this life because we do it, you know, the people pleasers, you know, they want somebody else to be happy. Then we have all of the personality disorders. Sometimes we have people in our lives that have personality disorders that we're trying to weave our way in this life through. But you by no means have to abandon yourself to please someone else. You are always going to be the one that's going to suffer. So always have your voice, use your voice, and if you don't feel good about something, speak up and don't do it. You don't need to do anything that you don't want to do or you don't feel comfortable doing. So, you know, I think that it's time for us to let's allow change to flow freely, release attachments to outcomes and creating stories in our minds, which only leads to judgment and disappointment with all the people involved, you know, and we're all going to feel loss, we're all going to feel pain, and, you know, we're like in this life, you know, the goal here is to be happy, right? So that's a whole other obsession. But we can cultivate a positive mindset by taking care and looking after ourselves and being with ourselves. And this is the message that I want to hit home with today. So every single day, any time of the day, you can change your mind. You can create a new routine. Nobody says, you know, like nobody dictates that for you. You get to choose, you get to decide. You know, the voice in your head, which voice is it? Is it the ego? Is it the ego? Is it the one that's actually trying to nurture? Is it like, you know, is it your heart saying to you, hey, you know what? You need to rest. Like, when you spend time and you sit with yourself, you start to understand when the ego, when the mind is talking, and when the heart's talking. Because the heart doesn't actually talk through the mind. The heart feels in your body. Whatever you feel in your body is going to be a direct response from your thoughts, for sure. But if you're more in tune with your heart and you're living a life and leading a life in love, you will be able to decipher the difference. Your happiness is based on your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts, and what you hold on to. Don't hold on to anything, because nothing lasts forever. When you hold on to something, you're attached to it. And when you attach yourself to it, you create suffering in your life. You create pain and suffering. Never attached to anything. Possessions, people, materialistic things. Nature doesn't attach to anything. Just look at nature. The sky's always moving, always changing. The trees are always shedding their leaves. They are growing, they're shrinking, they're always in motion. Water, the birds and all of the animals and the creatures in nature, they're always changing. They adapt. They adapt to their environment. And we also, as humans, need to spend more time adapting, less attaching. Because when you grasp hold of something and you try to hold on to it really tight, you're holding on to nothing, because everything crumbles, everything changes, and we lose everything at some point in our lives. Nothing is meant forever. That's why we have life and death. So think about that. It's deep. But I always share my essential oil oracle card. So today I pulled Neroli, and Neroli says, I am aware. Unity is the theme. You are strengthening the connection between your energetic and physical bodies to help you manifest your goals. Okay? And then lastly, whenever I discover new music or a new playlist, I always share, because this is just too good not to share. So I discovered JM Professor, and I'm going to link his YouTube channel down below. And this specific, this track is 1 hour long, and it's called Lake House Guitar Music for Work, Steady Focus, Peaceful, Relaxing Guitar. And it's just beautiful. It's so calming. It's so relaxing. You can listen to it any time of the day. It's like so beautiful. Check it out. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll see you all soon, okay? Whenever that is. All right. Bye. Take care, everyone.